What if the failure you're trying so hard to avoid is actually the thing that's preparing you for the dream that you've been praying for? Because failure isn't the end, bro. Failure is the training ground. If you're watching this video and you're a struggling entrepreneur, you're on the journey, you're wondering if you have it in you, you're wondering if you're going to make it, by the end of this video, you're going to realize that you fucking do. You got what it takes, but you're interpreting failure the wrong way. Failure is the road. Failure is the process. Failure is what's going to get you to where you want to be. I'll start today's video with this. I'll start right off, man, with the collapse of one of my first businesses that I thought was going to be my purpose for the rest of my life. And it failed. It failed miserably. Stick around, bro. You know, guys, I used to be a personal trainer. I thought that was my dream. I was going to have many studios. I went to school. I got a certification, right, for my personal training, but I also got a personal training diploma. That diploma took me 6 months to get. And I drove down. I was living in Chicago at the time. I drove downtown almost an hour every day and an hour back to get this, right? It was like 4 days a week. It's like a full-time job. And I gave it everything. You know, I learned how to do CPR. I invested so much time, money, effort. I was so sure this was it. And I ended up meeting a business partner there. I finished before he did. So I had to wait till he got his diploma, and then we linked up afterwards. And he was living in a city called Northbrook at the time, which was an hour away from where I was living. But we decided to open the personal training studio up there, right? We both wanted a personal training studio. We collabed. He was my business partner, and it was good until it wasn't. And I was driving an hour from where I was staying at, my parents at the time. And I gave it everything. I helped move the fucking equipment for our studio into it. And we built it from the ground up. And I was so proud. I remember one day I was looking out the window of the studio, and I was like, I was feeling and thinking to myself, I did it. I wrote this shit down on a piece of paper, and I manifested this. I created this. Look at me, man. I was on top of the world that night. Like when it really hit that this was my dream. I'm living my fucking dream. And I was so happy, right? And it was a short but very powerful time of my life because I got to see what I could create. I got to see what I can do. And even though it came crashing down a year and a half later, it was the best thing that could have happened because that led me to my next purpose. I'm sharing this with you because sometimes you think that because that first, second, third business didn't work, that you're not meant to be an entrepreneur, but this is the journey. These are the struggles, the pains, the failures that come with it. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard, bro. You know, like there's going to be financial pressure, right? At this point, when I was running, I was working 12 to 15 hours a day. You know, I was going out, putting flyers in people's mailbox to let them know, hey, we exist. No, I had like 13 clients just training 5-6 days a week. There was some tough times, but I learned so much. All the failures at that studio taught me so much about who I was, what I can do. I mean, bro, nothing like building a foundation off a brick and mortar business, right? Like you learn so much from being there, and compared to an online business, very freaking different, right? Very, very different. But looking back, you know, I thought my business was falling apart. Right. There was a time where I thought my business was falling apart, but what was actually happening was my identity was being rebuilt. I had to let go of who I thought I was so I could start building a new foundation because I was changing. I was growing. And that's what it takes. Right. Like it's why when you level up, a lot of your old friends don't stay with you. You got to let go. You got to move on. But at the time, it feels so painful. And the stories we create about what happens is just we failed and it's not for us, right? We start to question if we have it in us and it's bullshit. Of course you do. That light that's in you, it doesn't leave. I've been watching Intervention recently. If you guys don't know my past with alcohol, I used to be there, right? I used to have my own addiction with alcohol, and I get emotional watching these people because they're literally fighting for their fucking life, right? Whatever drug they're addicted to. And I remember yesterday I was watching this one particular cat, Tristan, and he he was battling an addiction with meth, and he was watching old videos of him. He went from success to and dropped down, bro. And the fall was hard for him. The fall was hard for him, but he was watching these old music videos. He was a dancer. He was an artist. He has so much talent, and the addiction beat him because from past trauma, past pain that just wasn't dealt with. It always goes to that. I started drinking because I got cheated on. And you need an escape, right? You want to numb, you don't want to feel that. But he was wondering if he still had that light, right? If he could still shine like how he once used to. And I'm there, I'm watching them like, if you only knew, it doesn't leave. That your spirit, that essence, the core essence of who you are, it doesn't leave, bro. No matter what you've battled, no matter what you've been through, it's still there. You can get back to it, right? I mean, I made the decision to change my life while I was drunk, right? Like laying in my bed, bro, just asking myself if this was going to be the rest of my life. And I said no. While under the influence, bro. You know how you got to understand that this guy, no matter what addiction you faced or how many failures you've gone through, right? It's pain. At the end of the day, it's fucking pain. And you can still make a decision through the pain. You can decide to be more. You can decide that you're going to be better than who you are right now. You always got a choice, but it has to get to a certain level of pain every time, right? So if you're watching this, man, you got a dream. You got a vision. You know in your heart you're a fucking entrepreneur. Your dream wasn't dying, bro. Whatever you've been through, your dream wasn't dying. The version of you that couldn't carry it was. That's what happened to me. I had to change, right? Even though the studio got me to my next, so that's the thing, the studio got me to my next purpose, but it wasn't what I was really here to do. What we see me right now, this is what I came here to do. Can't tell you the feeling when I coach somebody and I see them, bro, having their breakthrough and realizing, oh man, this is what I've been looking for. This answer, right? This breakthrough. That's what it's about, because I'm saving lives in a different way. Right? Just like somebody saved, like we saved each other's lives. We save each other's lives, but we don't at the same time, because we're helping, we're supporting, right? Like I can't say, all right, let me rephrase that. They saved their own life, but they got the help. I saved my own life, but I got the help, right? And mentors are so powerful. I'll say that, bro. But I'm gonna share with you the truth about failure. Failure teaches entrepreneurs things success never can. Like what was that old saying? When you win, you celebrate. When you lose, you ponder. It's so true, right? Because there's so many lessons that failure reveals. For example, and it's not always good. It's not always good, right? Sometimes it shows you your weaknesses, or it doesn't feel good, but it is good, right? Your weaknesses, your blind spots, your ego, your habits, your character, your commitment. It shows you a lot, and that's the thing. Like, I was watching this video yesterday with these cats working out, and he was saying, this guy who was tired, he's like, I'm giving it everything. And this other guy's like, I needed to keep going. And he's like, what if the weights, what if what the weight they're saying are true? And they're like, what do you mean? And basically he was trying to get at like, what if and it was his own voices in his head. It's like, what if the weights are telling me, which was that he wasn't enough, that he was weak, right? All these insecurities that were coming up for him. Like he was telling his buddies, what if that was true? And it's just his own fear. It was his own fears, right? And his own limiting beliefs, his own views about himself. And that's what I mean by what it reveals about you, man. You're going to face every pain, every fear that you have when you go on this entrepreneur journey. When you're trying to build something great, it's going to reveal the blind spots, parts of you you're not even aware of. It's this trauma that's unresolved that comes up. There's a lot of pain, bro. And I'll ask you this, man, if everything worked the first time, would you ever become the person capable of sustaining the dream? So with that, if you weren't battle tested, if you didn't have to dig so fucking deep inside your soul just to keep going when your back's against the wall, do you have the strength you have now? The wisdom, the perseverance, right? The resilience? You wouldn't. You wouldn't have the experience more than anything, because that experience is worth freaking gold, because you use that. You utilize the failure, the experience the rest of your life. So it doesn't mean the dream isn't for you if you're not there yet, if you're not where you want to be yet. I'm not where I want to be yet, but it takes time. Failure is the process. Failure is the fucking way. And if you can keep going, if you can keep walking your path because you love this shit, because it's in you, because it's who you are, you're going to live a very, very fulfilled life. But you can't give up on yourself, bro. If you're on the verge of giving up, I'm telling you, keep going. You have it in you. Stop doubting yourself. Go show yourself what you can do. Give yourself your own proof if you don't have it yet, right? I'll be damned, man. I tell myself this quite often. I'll be damned if I sign myself off from my dream, from what I want to do. Because at the end of the day, it ain't nobody else who can do that for you. If you're telling yourself you can't, as cliche it is, as that is, you're ready to give up. But if you know you got it, sometimes you just need a little break, bro. You can step back. But you're the only one that can sign yourself off. You're the only one that can quit. So I'm telling you, you're being prepared. Learn, stay in the game, man. You know, most entrepreneurs, they want the destination. Very few understand they're actually building themselves. It's about who you become every single time. That was one of the first lessons I learned when I started to go down this entrepreneurial road. It's about who you fucking become. It's a painful transformation. That's why people stop. That's why people drop like flies. And they give up on themselves, on the dream. But if you know there's something for you, you got to keep going, man. This is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is it, bro. Let's do or die. You make the call. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to live a mediocre life? Knowing you could have been more? Knowing you could have done something great? Or are you going to go for it? Are you going to be all in? Or are you going to do what you got to do to get there? Sometimes it requires getting a job. Sometimes it requires whatever the fuck it requires, bro. But are you willing to do it? You know? I got another story for you. There was a time where another freaking time where Bob Proctor used to say, I could tell you stories that will mess up your whole week from all his mistakes and failures. Same. There was a time where I was after the personal training studio. 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, I was just, man, I was going through it. I thought I failed at life. I thought I was just going to have to get a regular job, and that was going to be it because I failed at my first. It's silly looking back now, just how ridiculous that is. But I didn't give a shit about myself, man. I felt like a failure. I felt like a loser. I was eating just sweets and desserts and shitty food. It was really bad. And I was just drinking. I was so angry at life. I was so angry at myself because it felt so right. Like, this is it. And it was it, but in a different way, you know? So I fell off for 3 weeks. I felt so disappointed with myself. I lost the momentum that I had. You know, at the time I was earning $5K a month. And to me, that was a lot at the time. And I was very grateful. And shit, it felt like I lost my life in that sense, right? And I ended up watching a Tony Robbins 3-day challenge. And that one decision to get back on track changed the whole trajectory of my life, because I realized you know what? Scratch that. No, this is from, I get this mixed sometimes. This was after I left Chicago. I was in Flagstaff, Arizona. And I fell off. It was 3 weeks again. And I was just so down. I stopped drinking coffee. That was really, I had a whole caffeine addiction at the time too. And it was hard. Damn, was it hard. At that time too, so my business was failing. It shook me, man. It really, really shook me. And I thought I was a failure. I thought it was the same emotions, bro. The same emotions as when after I left the personal training studio. This time, at least I wasn't drinking, but I thought my dream was over again. This new dream of, you know, being a coach, of helping people heal, helping people not give up on themselves. And I realized after doing this 3-day Tony Robbins challenge, this is the first time I was even introduced to Tony Robbins. Usually I would blow him off. Like I I never paid attention to him until this 3-day challenge, but it came in at a perfect time. And I went to the challenge and I realized I didn't need a different dream. I just needed to keep getting back up, you know? And sometimes, and then I started doing challenges on my own later on because I saw the power of momentum. You help somebody for 1 day, that's cool. But you help somebody for 3, 5, 7, 21 days, you really are giving them momentum then. And that's just that. And even with the intervention, watching that show, they give them 90 days of momentum of sobriety, right? When they go to treatment, they get help. It's awesome, bro. Like you have somebody cheering for you, helping you heal, working with you for 90 days. That's also what my coaching programs had the effect that they had on people, because I work with people for 90 days, right? It's called my Next Level You 3-month program. Like all the people I've taken them through completely different people afterwards in the best way. Every single one couldn't thank me enough. And it's like, bro, you showed up, you did the work, you know? I'm literally just the helping hand. But it's all you, man. If you can put yourself, I mean, that's why retreats are so powerful, because you put yourself in a environment where you can grow, you can heal, you can learn about yourself, you can see what's been blocking you, you can spend time with yourself, especially outside. That's why when I went to the retreat in Sedona, when I was living in Chicago, it was such a different energy. It was such a different space, like-minded people, you know? It matters, bro. So I'm going to finish this video today with just letting you know, failure didn't disqualify you. Quitting would have. If you're watching this, bro, you're not a failure. You're not a failure. Every successful entrepreneur has failed. The difference isn't talent, it's interpretation. How do you interpret it? Listen to the 16 Laws of Success, the Law of Failure by Napoleon Hill. He says it best, you know? Failure has a dumb language, but it tests everybody. It molds you to help you become who you want to become, who you always knew, who you always thought you could, every time, right? If you failed and you think, oh, I'm not meant for this, right? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs think that. I used to think that when my businesses failed, like, just remember, successful entrepreneurs ask, what is this failure trying to teach me? Every time. Stop asking, why is this happening to me, bro? Start asking, who is this failure helping me become? Because failure isn't the end. It might be the very thing that leads you to everything you've been working for. Much love, guys. If you would like my help in any way, I have my course, Courage Unleashed. You can work one-on-one with me. Check out the description down below. I also have my free audio training, Limitless and True Power. Go ahead and check that out if you want to just kind of get a taste of what I do, how I help, how I serve. I would strongly recommend those. Start there, bro. Just see if I'm even your vibe in that sense. But it's going to give you momentum. I promise you that. Whatever you choose down below, it's going to give you momentum. But until next time, and I really hope you continue living your dream, bro.